Hi, trader friends. It's Sunday. It's time for that weekly trade plan. But first, let's do a recap. See if the levels from last week made sense. So let's go. Right, buddies. So at first, a little recap of what happened last week. See if those levels made sense. So for reference, I was using the composite levels from this range. I was using the value levels, basically value from that month, from this range. The high volume node level to defend from the bears and the bulls. Also basically high volume nodes on top and on the bottom. And then I was just using levels like lows from weeks, value levels from weeks. Again, high volume nodes, lows, highs from those weeks, prior weeks. Use those as targets. So what happened last week? So we opened up with a gap. We opened up here. I think we closed that prior week up here. We opened here, so we create a gap. We immediately start starting off from that gap, so that gap basically gets confirmed. We trade towards that prior weekly low. We trade towards the week before that's low. We trade towards the value level of that low here, basically a higher low. And this is where we start finding buyers. We're unable to, we try to push down, but we're unable to reject. We find buyers here, we push up, we regain some levels. We use those levels as support, we push back up. We're getting back into the lower end of the high volume nodes from that composite from this month. This is where I start really getting bullish for a gap close. So we get back into those levels, we push back into value. We basically did a complete value rotation, not to the tick, but this counts as a value rotation. And we closed the week back at that high volume node. So we were basically back at zero. So there's a lot of business being done in the last 5 weeks, and we're still at the same price. So overall still balanced with a high probability of a bounce. We're creating higher lows here, so it's kind of bullish. So that was a recap of what happened last week. Levels made sense. Level guided me through the week. So let's create a new plan. Normal composite levels for me this week. I'm going to be using the last week's session as a guide. So at first, I'm just going to mark out the value levels here. Got the composite, I got the value area high. I got the low of value down here. I need those levels to get out of the way. Just cleaning up my chart for a minute here. Need to redo them all afterwards again, so it doesn't matter. Right, so we got get the value area low, get the composite, I get the high volume node here, the POC. We got the value area high. I do want to change the names now from this. This becomes prior value area high. This becomes the prior POC. And this one becomes the value area low, the prior weekly value area low, I should say. All good. So obviously, as long as we stay inside of value, this could just rotate. If we are unable to trade above this POC from last week, we reject. I'll be looking for a rotation towards the lower levels here. Yes. If we lose this level, I'll be looking for the bulls to defend. Where's my bullish defend level? So one, I'm looking for high volume nodes, and I'm looking for aggression in the buyers. So I see in this part, there's like a lot of bullish delta here. So I'll be looking for that level to hold, for the bulls to defend. got this high volume node here. So if price, for whatever reason, next week rejects the prior POC and we trade towards the value area low, if we don't find buyers here and we reject, I'll be looking for this extreme to hold for the bulls to defend, for buyers to step in again and push price back into value and then do a complete rotation here. If for some reason this level fails, I'll be looking for the low of that session. Let's see what we got more from levels. Just delete them. Right, if we lose this level, probably looking for the low of that session here. Something to be set to target somewhere in here. Yeah, I'm just going to use the low of that session. If for some reason we keep selling off, once again the low of this session, of the next session. I do think there's like a value area there, but I don't want to clutter my charts too much with I'm just going to use the low of this session. If price is losing that low from that session here, this level is way too close to use. It's just going to clutter up my charts and my bias. I think if we lose this low and we reject, there's a high probability this is just going to melt and trade towards the next level here. And if for some reason we lose this level, I'll be using the value low from this session. If we lose that level, for sure the low of this session. There's something to be set to target halfway, but again, it's too close for reference. I think that's good. Hope that makes sense. So for downside targets, if price is unable to trade above that POC here, we sell off. I'm looking for the value area low. If we don't find buyers, here, I'll be looking for that bullish defense level here, basically that high volume node with that buy aggression down low outside of value. If you don't find buyers here, I'll be looking for the low. If you don't find buyers here, I'll be looking for the next low. If you don't find buyers here, I'll be looking for this low. If you don't find buyers here, it's going to be that value area low level. If you don't find buyers here, this low here. This is an easy guide to the downside so far. But perfect. I mean, it doesn't have to be hard. Creating a trade plan like this doesn't have to be hard. I'm using these levels with my session profiles intraday. It's fire. Right, I think downside is good. Let's see if we can create some levels to the bulls to continue this taco rally. This is all-time high. Wait, I need to load some more data. More data, please. Unable to load more data. Rhythmic is down, I think, for maintenance. Yeah, all right. Anyways, this is the all-time high. We unable to zoom more. That's annoying, but it's all right. That's fine. Right. So the opposite for the bulls. If we open next week, we use the prior POC as support. We trade above the prior value area high. This is naked weekly POC. There's a naked. There's just a naked weekly POC. Some highs here. This value area high is interesting. There's a ton of absorption, sell pressure on the high here. So I'm just going to use the high from that session. But at first, I'm going to target that naked weekly POC of prior week. Let's see what happens here. The bear defend level is basically inside of value. I'm not going to use this level. The bear defend level basically is on top of here. Anything above this is going to start looking really bullish. So first target to the upside is going to be that prior POC. Next target is going to be weekly high from that session from the week before. Once again, this value level is way too close to that swing high there. There is way more volume traded at that value level, so I kind of want to use this level here. Makes more sense. Yeah, it makes more sense. I'm gonna use the value area high from that week. Next target is gonna be swing high of this week. And then we are back to all-time highs here. For sure, using the value low from that week. The POC from all-time high week. We have the value area high and a swing high. So I'm going to use that swing high here. And then the last one, this is just all-time highs here. All right. I think I'm done with the levels. So let's see if that makes sense, right? So if upon open, we open up and we trade above that prior POC, we trade towards that value area high, we create structure above value area high. I'll be targeting that naked weekly POC. If we keep going up, targeting that value area high, basically the highs of that session. If we continue targeting these levels here, if we keep trading above, looking for the value of that all-time high week. Once we start trading inside of value from that week, I'll be looking for a rotation of value of that week, especially towards that POC. If we regain that POC, value area high. If we trade above value area high, it's all-time highs. Yeah, I think that guide looks good. Yeah, it's that easy. It is that easy. And I just use the session profiles as a guide inside of this guide. Yeah. All right, that's the plan for next week. Let's make some money.